What's up guys, and welcome to my first ever video on YouTube. And I'm not gonna lie, that is really exciting to say. On this channel, I will talk about my favorite thing in the world, and that is baseball. In today's video, I will be discussing my predictions for the MLB 2026 season regarding the American League. In the next video, I will be discussing my predictions for the National League. I took a risk here and there in these predictions, so some takes might be a little bold, but overall I think I did okay. Ultimately, I will probably be wrong a lot of times, but that is the whole point of the video. I really hope you guys enjoy, and if you do, please leave a like. That would mean a lot to me. Well, that's all I gotta say. Let's cut to the chase, and let's talk baseball. The first division we will be predicting is the American League East. This is, in my opinion, a very competitive division, which makes it harder to predict, but also way more fun. All 5 teams, I think, have aspirations of winning, but some of course have better rosters than others. Let's dive into it. In 5th place, I got the Tampa Bay Rays. The Rays are a solid team in my eyes, they just happen to be in a very good division. The Rays are one of those teams that always seem to perform when you least expect it, so they could very much prove me wrong. Last year they showed us just that, and I think that the bats will play again this year. I would not be shocked if guys like Jonathan Aranda, Yandy Diaz, and Junior Caminero keep going like they have done last season. I mean, have you guys seen Junior Caminero in the WBC? I do have to say that I am a little bit concerned about the pitching, especially their depth. Shane McClanahan is finally healthy, but can he stay that way? I mean, I like Drew Rasmussen, but that is pretty much it, as they just traded away one of their young starters in Shane Baz. The Rays are able to upset me and a lot of others, but I think this is the most realistic prediction for them as of right now. I would have ranked them higher if it wasn't for the other teams. In 4th place, I got the Baltimore Orioles. And the Orioles actually had a very good offseason, which they kinda needed after blowing up last year, and a disastrous season which led to them missing the playoffs. I do think the Orioles will bounce back this year, and they showed us they have all the intentions to do so. The additions of Pete Alonso and Taylor Ward improves their offense by a lot, and they added some pitching as well with Shane Baz and Chris Bassett, while bringing back Zach Eflin on a 1-year deal. Once again, I feel like the rotation and the bullpen will be the weak link for Baltimore, despite adding Ryan Helsley. I mean, Kyle Bradish is a very good pitcher, but overall, looking at the Orioles roster, I feel like there are too many what-ifs and things that have to go right for them to actually be competitive and win this division. Like, Gunnar Henderson needs MVP numbers, Jackson Holliday needs to take another step, Jordan Westburg has to stay healthy, which he isn't already. Kjerstad needs to perform. I just don't buy that everything will fall into place for Baltimore. Again, I could be very wrong here, but at this current moment, I don't think it's fair to say that the Orioles are contending to win the American League East this year. I do think they have playoff potential if everyone can stay healthy on that offense. Oh boy, 3rd place. Here we go. In 3rd place, I got the New York Yankees. Yes, I said it. The Yankees will finish in 3rd place in the American League East this year. Yankees fans, don't get mad already. Or do. I don't like you guys anyway. But I'm going to explain why this is my prediction. The Yankees had a brutal offseason. We can all agree on that. Even Aaron Judge got out the front office. The only real acquisition was Ryan Weathers, who had a 4 ERA last season. Of course, they retained Trent Grisham and Cody Bellinger, which was actually huge for them. But that was all. Like, what the fuck, man? We're talking about the New York Yankees here. Again, I have a lot of questions with this team, and they could honestly finish in every possible place in this division. One of the key components to me for the Yankees' success is pitching health. Garrett Cole and Carlos Rodon won't start the season on time, but if they can stay healthy and form a rotation with Max Fried and Cam Schlittler, the Yankees have themselves a very good pitching staff, maybe even top 3 in the game. Offensively, we all know how good the Yankees can be. I mean, Judge will probably hit 60 homers again. I really like Ben Rice, and Bellinger and Jazz will also put up very good offensive numbers. Overall, I can't put them above the next 2 teams, but it would also not be a surprise to me if the Yankees finish last in this division. I didn't want to be too harsh on the Yankees fans, so I've put them in 3rd place.
All it takes is a little push.
In 2nd place, I got last year's World Series runner-ups, the Toronto Blue Jays. I am so sorry, Jays fans. What a year you guys had, and damn, you guys were so close. I think the Jays are a phenomenal team with great potential. Like, what is there not to like about this team, if we're honest? good offense, solid defense, and a very good pitching staff. If you love baseball, you love this Toronto Blue Jays team. I mean, Vladimir Guerrero is a dog. I very much believe in Dalton Varsho. Springer is still playing very well, and Edison Barger is going to be a stud. Mark my words on that one. Pitching-wise, they added Dylan Cease as their ace and Cody Ponce as a backhand starter. Also, shout out Trey Savage. I know the guy will start the year on the IL, but that dude can pitch. The only reason I put the Blue Jays behind the Red Sox is because of the offseason the Blue Jays had. Don't get me wrong, it wasn't bad, but I believe even Jays fans will tell you that they expected a little bit more. They just missed out on Tucker, they just missed out on Bregman, and they lost their homegrown star Bo Bichette. It's crazy to say, but I'm starting to believe that players just don't want to play in Toronto. Nonetheless, I think the team is really good and is able to win the American League pennant once again this year. I am really excited to watch Blue Jays baseball. And that means I have the Boston Red Sox winning the American League East this year. I think the Red Sox have done an amazing job this offseason, man. Props to them. Boston addressed all primary needs regarding pitching, bolstering their entire rotation besides American League Cy Young runner-up Garrett Crochet. The starting pitching is absolutely lethal now. I mean, Crochet, Suarez, and Sonny Gray will combine for a lot of WAR and form a very good three-headed monster. Besides the pitching, the Red Sox addressed their secondary needs by replacing Alex Bregman with Caleb Durbin and by adding Wilson Contreras, who I think will fit very well in Boston, playing mostly first base. In my opinion, the Red Sox now have all the tools to win this division and make a deep run into the playoffs. They can hit, they can pitch, they can run, and when they have a lead, that bullpen isn't something to take lightly. 1 through 9, a very solid team, with no big holes, and they're still pretty young as well. Also, I gotta say, I think Roman Anthony is the real deal, man. The guy will be one of baseball's next superstars. I pray to God that he stays healthy. But there you go, Red Sox fans. You'll be winning the East this year.
I love you, I love you, I love you!
Moving on to the second division of the video, the American League Central. The Central is a very weak division with, in my eyes, a very clear favorite. Let's get into it. In 5th place, I have the Minnesota Twins. And honestly, I think they should just completely tear it down. It's sad to see what happened to the Twins since 2023. The offseason was brutal, they really made 0 significant signings, and it seems like they are okay with losing. There is also some voodoo bad luck stuff going on in Minnesota, as stars like Byron Buxton and Royce Lewis can't seem to stay healthy. I mean, the year didn't even start yet, and ace Pablo Lopez is already out for the year with an elbow injury. If you are a Minnesota sports fan, you should probably put your hopes on the Timberwolves instead. In my eyes, this team is nowhere near a competitive team, while arguably being in the weakest division. There is no way this team wins more than 65 games this year. No way. I really don't have anything else to say about the Twins, so let's move on. In 4th place, I have got the Chicago White Sox. And if you know me, you know I hate Chicago, and the White Sox even more.
And that's the pitch. I'll be honest with you.
Now that you guys know this little fact about me, I am going to be very positive about the White Sox. They had quite a good offseason, and I have to give them props overall. They signed one of the biggest names on the free agent market in third baseman Munetaka Murakami, which was a very big surprise to me. And they also handed out some multi-year contracts to solid MLB veterans like Sir Anthony Dominguez. Besides that, Chicago finally moved on from Luis Robert, which I think is a very good thing for them. The White Sox simply aren't that terrible team from 2024 anymore, and I think you could say they are finally watchable again. When looking at the rebuild and the state they were in 2 seasons ago, I really like what the White Sox are doing. The team is still very young, so there is a lot of room for development, and I think the trade returns throughout the years have been very solid. At this point, it looks like they are right on schedule, but I don't see them competing for a playoff spot already. Very interesting to see if they can exceed expectations and maybe climb the ladder this year. In 3rd place, oh god, here we go again. I got the Cleveland Guardians, another team I highly dislike.
We've got a badass over here.
Trust me, I don't mean to upset people, but you can't blame me for this one. The devil magic is real. We all saw it last year. The run differential is mental, and it feels like they're throwing out a AAA lineup plus Jose Ramirez every single day. He's very good though, I'm not gonna lie. All jokes aside, I don't really expect a good year for Cleveland. I have a lot of trouble pointing out their strengths. I mean, the defense is good, but once defense is your best ability, you are not going to win a lot of baseball games. I guess you could make the argument they put a lot of balls in play and can put pressure on opponents, but that simply doesn't do it for me. Regarding the offseason, it's not a secret the Guardians are one of the teams that tends to spend very little in free agency. But this time, it was a flat-out joke. They won the division last year, but they only added Sean Armstrong? That's it? That doesn't say World Series or bust to me at all. Definitely one of the biggest losers this offseason. That's why I put them in third place. They are better than Chicago and Minnesota, but I don't think the Guardians are able to win more games than the next two teams. My soul would be completely rinsed of all the dirt if my prediction were to be true. In second place, I have the Kansas City Royals, a very good, young, and underrated team in my opinion. They made some nice moves, and I think they got better than last year. I just don't see them keeping it up for a full 162 yet. The left side of the diamond is simply just stacked with Michael Garcia and Bobby Witt Jr. What they have been doing in the WBC is a treat to your eyes, and I expect these guys to ball out in the regular season as well. Witt is arguably a top 3 player in the league, while Michael Garcia is projected to hit 15 plus home runs with a 280 batting average and 65 plus RBI. Besides these two stars, I think the offense is the biggest problem. Maybe Pasquantino can have a good year and Jack Caglianone should do better than last year, but that's definitely it. The bottom of the order is really the bottom of the order. It's also not very easy to hit in Kauffman Stadium. The ball just doesn't really travel, so I expect a lot more out of the rotation, who will do its job, barring no injuries. Facing Reagans, Lugo, and Waka is very tough on every hitter. They can definitely put up a serious fight with Detroit for first place, but realistically, the Tigers should win this division. And with that, I have my favorite team, the Detroit Tigers, winning the American League Central. Man, I could not be more excited to watch this Tigers team play. And it kind of feels like this has to be the year for Detroit as well. I mean, it's probably the last year of Tarek Skubal. The Tigers finally spent money by acquiring Framber Valdez, giving the Tigers the best 1-2 punch in the league. Kevin McGonigal had an amazing spring training and has made the team. It seems like a lot of pieces are falling into place for the Tigers. Detroit also strengthened the back end of the bullpen by adding my fellow Dutchman Kenley Jansen and bringing back Kyle Finnegan. The starting rotation is also one of the best in the sport and probably my favorite rotation ever. Scoob is the best in the game. Framber is at least a top 20 pitcher in the sport. Mize was an all-star, my favorite pitcher. I believe Flaherty will bounce back. God, I am so excited! I think also the vibes are higher than ever before in Detroit. Even owner Chris Ilitch seems to be invested. From the get-go, it did feel like a very slow offseason, but Scott Harris came through in the end. I still feel like the Tigers should add to their offense if they want to be serious World Series contenders. Swinging a trade for a guy like Isaac Paredes could certainly help, but at this point, anything would help this offense. If Detroit is able to stay healthy, this is the Tigers division by a mile. Moving on to our third and final division in the American League, the American League West. Again, a very tough division with some upcoming teams and solidified big guys. Let's get into it. In fifth place, I have of course the Los Angeles Angels. Yeah, I'm kind of convinced this franchise is just genuinely cursed. Quite frankly, they aren't very good either. This is one of those fan bases I just genuinely feel sorry for. I really don't know what to say about this team. I mean, every year they try to get better, but in the end, it just never works out. I know they took a flyer on some guys with high upside, but I think the floor with those guys is also just very low. I don't really see Alek Manoah return to his old self, but maybe who knows. Grayson Rodriguez is also kind of in that same boat, but he's already hurt. Yeah, it's hard to say that the Angels will have a good year this year. It's so sad to see them wasting Mike Trout's career, like, I don't even want to talk about it. If I had to say something positive about anyone, I would say Reed Detmers could be a breakout candidate. His underlying metrics look promising. But yeah, that shows you how bad the situation really is. Angels, 5th place. And Mike Trout, please, please stay healthy. I need another MVP year out of you.
This is fine. I'm okay with the events that are unfolding currently.
In fourth place, I have one of the most hated teams in the sport, the Houston Astros. When you think of the Astros, you immediately think of playoff baseball. But I don't see them getting there this year after they missed it last year as well. Again, not a good look on the offseason side for the Astros. I mean, they signed Tatsuya Imai, but that was kind of it. I know they brought back Joey Loperfido and traded for Mike Burrows, but those aren't league-altering moves, you know? They lost Framber to Detroit, which I didn't really mind, you know, but it's a big deal. They also lost some bullpen arms to several teams, so the new guys aren't making Houston a better team at all. Also, the infield is still way too crowded in Houston, and they kinda need to make a trade to create some room. We got the news the other day that Jeremy Pena fractured his finger, so maybe not at this very moment, but the roster is still completely unbalanced, and I don't feel like that will change anytime soon. Overall, the Houston Astros are still a decent team, but I don't expect anything special from them this year, and other teams are getting better. The pitching staff has to make it happen for the Astros, if anything. But to be quite honest, I think the Houston Astros will be sellers at the deadline. I'm sorry, I said it. In third place, I went with the Athletics, and I think that is a pretty fair ranking for them. I really like what they're doing, building the young core they have. Locking up guys like Tyler Soderstrom, Jacob Wilson, and Lawrence Butler shows they finally want to build something with that team. I know them spending might have to do a little bit with the new CBA that's coming after 2026, but let's just believe they really want to lock up their guys. We all know how good Nick Kurtz can be. I really like the addition of Jack McNeil, and Brent Rooker is always a very solid bat. Fun times for the team with no home city attached to them. Pitching-wise, it's a different story. Really, the only solidified MLB name is Luis Severino, and to have him as your ace feels like we're living in 2019 again. When I was looking up names and clips regarding the pitching, I really didn't know who to look for. And that is special as I watch a lot of baseball. Would love to see them get better and develop pitching-wise. But I am excited for Athletics baseball. I hope they prove me wrong and upset some teams I have put above them right now. In second place, I have the Texas Rangers. Maybe a surprise to some, but I really like the Rangers. I think they will finally have a good year this year. Ever since the Rangers won it all in 2023, there have been some struggles, and it's insane to me that they didn't make the playoffs the last 3 years. I am aware of the injury bug, but still, this is a very, very talented ball club. The Rangers have a very solid offense, and I don't see why they shouldn't perform to their standards. I love the Brendan Nimmo trade for the Rangers, cementing their number 1, 2, and 3 everyday hitters. Besides that, did you know that the Rangers are projected to have 7 of their 9 hitters with a WRC plus above 100? That means very good production. And when you combine that with the starting pitchers they have, I mean, Jacob deGrom, Nathan Eovaldi, Mackenzie Gore, and Jack Leiter, I am also expecting a lot out of Wyatt Langford, who is primed for a monster year. Corey Seager is one of my favorite players, and if Evan Carter can play like he did at the end of 2023, I don't want my team to play the Rangers. Simple as that. Texas is a very underrated team, and a squad other teams should definitely watch out for. Bullpen might be a little iffy though. That's why I put them in second place.
Wow, it looks great. Traditional American foursquare.
And then the obvious choice. In first place, I have the Seattle Mariners. The Mariners are just so good. If I had to pick, I'd say the Mariners are the favorite to win the American League pennant this year. Last year they were close already, but now they are even more for real. And what an offseason they had. Eugenio Suarez and Jorge Polanco left the Emerald City, but they signed Josh Naylor to a 5-year extension, traded for Brendan Donovan, I love that trade by the way, signed Rob Refsnyder as a platoon bat, which helps their primary needs immediately. I just looked at the projections for the Mariners for 2026, and I genuinely don't see a weak spot. Maybe you could say defense? Nah, that's nonsense, dude. This team is badass. I love this roster. Cal Raleigh and Julio Rodriguez lead the way, but the lineup is way deeper than that. Randy Arozarena is still there. I really like Dominic Canzone, and don't even get me started on their pitching. The rotation is one off, if not the best in baseball, and the back end of the bullpen is absolutely lethal. Let's all join the Brian Wu hype train now before we're called bandwagons. In my opinion, the Mariners are just very good and they are here to stay for the next few years. The Seattle Seahawks already won a Super Bowl this year. Is it time for the Mariners as well? Let me know in the comments.
As I said, next video will be about predicting the National League. Don't forget to subscribe and hope to see you guys there. Peace.